everybody. Welcome to the 7th episode of Raz in 60. We are now here in the year 2020, the year of clear vision. We're bringing you all the new episodes of Raz in 60, 2020. Again, the year of clear vision, y'all. So this is going to be a great episode that we have here today. I want to thank all of you for listening and make sure that you hashtag Raz in 60. If you're tweeting or putting it on Instagram or any other social media outlets, make sure you hashtag Raz in 60.
All right. Welcome back for me to the to the podcast.
Back. For sure.
I recently, welcomed the new baby girl into the world.
That's right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We was like on the same kind of thing. My wife was having a baby, you was having a baby.
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So they'll be a couple months apart as far as age-wise.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about your fitness goals. I've seen you on social media. I'm sure everyone else have seen you on social media. So any new fitness milestones going on?
Back to 2020. I added the Indio crew, Indio Champ, Indio Hawk, all of those guys at Diamond Gym, Shay. They work with steel. I'm used to doing the CrossFit training with Fast Fitness and Dre. I still go there. That's my man. He keep me endurance and cardio. But these guys here, they strictly on the weight still.
Okay.
Some strong guys, man.
Okay.
Like monsters up there.
So you weightlifting now?
Yeah, threw a little weightlifting in there. That's like altogether is like 5 times a week now that I'm hitting it. Yeah,
That's good. I need to get in there as well soon. So, all right. So you recently had a son, and I know that you do the Facebook Live show.
Oh, yeah.
So can you tell us about that on Mondays?
Yeah. The guy that works for me, Theo, comes and invades my privacy every other Monday.
Okay.
No, yeah, but it's great. I mean, I like to do that. I'm reading to him. Obviously, some people think that because he's 4 months old, he doesn't understand what's happening. I don't think so. I think that even at that age, they're taking everything in. They're learning, they're listening, trying to formulate language and words and observing you and all these other kind of things. So I'm trying to get healthy habits in, right? And make sure he understands how to read.
Yeah.
That's important, right?
Yeah, that's good. I think, that's the reading will definitely help him start formulating words and everything like that.
Yeah.
All right. And the people seem to love it. You get thousands of views every Monday.
Yeah, I don't even check. Man, I can't even, my technology skills is in the basement. I be trying to put it up on my Instagram. I have not been successful at that yet.
Okay.
But yeah.
All right. So let's move on to the what's been going on in the city since the last episode. It's time for the renew your dog licenses.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to do that. Got to renew your dog. And a lot of people in the city don't do it, because they just not. I mean, a lot of the dog owners are not used to doing that. You have to renew your dog license. So you go to City Hall, room B17, between the hours of 8:30 a.m. and 4 p.m. You get your dog license renewed. You don't want people to come in fine you or potentially take your animal away from you. It's important to get the license for your dog.
Mm.
Yep.
And the women's wellness workshops are going on for the month of March, April, and May.
That's
and
right.
Also February as well.
Yep. Women's wellness. There's a couple of things around women that are happening. You got the women's workshops that are going on every month between 12 and 2. Women are giving advice and tips, financial literacy, credit building, business development, home ownership. All of those things are happening in City Hall. But you also have the citywide women's meetings. We know we have a men's meeting and we have a women's meeting.
Right.
Women's meeting this month or on every month is like the third Thursday of the month at 6 p.m. at City Hall. So February, the third Thursday in February at City Hall is the women's meeting, 6 p.m. And you need to be there.
Yeah.
Right? The last meeting was very, very packed. It was a good meeting. A young lady talked about her starting her own business in the city and what it was like and the things that she went through. And it was really good information there. Not a lot of guys there, but I was there.
Right.
And then we have our men's meetings, but we having a special men's breakfast this month, February 17th, at 9 a.m. at the Robert Tree Hotel. Free meeting, open to the public, men's meetings. Get a little raucous in there. You got to come through, come early.
Right.
get to the men's breakfast. First one we had is going to be an annual breakfast that we have.
That should be
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah,
it's
it's
free and
gonna-
open to the public. Anybody
Free
can
and
come.
open to the public. Yep, free tickets, breakfast free, and come get some good information. A couple of speakers going to be speaking. They're usually lively, exciting kind of meetings. Trust me, you go there, you're gonna want to break a brick when you leave that place.
And the Census Bureau is hosting a number of community meetings in each ward, right? So that's going
Newark
on.
counts. Newark counts, y'all. Census Bureau. The census is starting in March. Everybody, 2020 census. You're going to start getting stuff in the mail. We need you to fill it out. We need you to make sure everybody in your household is counted. We need to count everybody. You can count homeless people. You count people that are undocumented. The governor just allowed us to even count people that are incarcerated now, who are in jail, but we count them for being in the city. We need everybody to be counted. This affects our congressional districts. It affects money that we get for various programs in the city, entitlement funds around homelessness, around HIV, around housing, all of these things, CDBG monies, all of the monies that the city get, millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars come to the city in grants based on the census count for many services that you receive. And you have to, don't believe the rumors and things that you hear. People cannot use the census data against you. So when you fill out the census, there's actually laws that prohibit other government agencies and agencies, period, from using the census data against you. In fact, they can get fined up to maybe $200,000, I understand, and 5 years in jail if they use that data. So if you're an immigrant, if you're undocumented, you can fill it out. We need you to fill it out because we don't get any services. We need you to fill it out, and they can't use it. If you got somebody living in your apartment and you're in the housing authority, you don't want them to know because they're going to kick you out. You can still fill it out. Put the person's name on there. They can't use that information. They will never have access to that information. I know we get a little nervous about the government and all this other kind of stuff, but there have been court cases that have been won when agencies have been trying to get data from the census. Homeland Security can't even get the census data.
So it's completely safe.
It's completely safe, and you need to fill it out. We need everybody to fill it out.
Right.
100%.
We're going into Black History Month. When this episode comes out, it will be Black History Month.
Yeah.
And there's a number of events going on in the city. And I know Councilwoman McIver is hosting a number of events at in the Central Ward.
Yeah, you should check her her Instagram page out. She has a lot of stuff going on for the Central Ward residents in terms of Black History Month. Every month for us is Black History Month. But at the end of the day, we're gonna have a couple of events as well coming up. So stay tuned. Events that are coming out of the Centers of Hope, out of the Rec Department, Senior Services, a couple of events. So stay tuned. Listen out for that. Look at the pages. Go to the city website. Other ways to find out information around Black History Month events that are going on.
Okay.
Yep.
And since we came into the new year, your administration have seen a couple of new, have hired a few new people.
Right.
We have a new communications director.
Yeah.
Miss Sandra Roberts.
Sandra Roberts.
Yes.
Who is this lady? Yeah, new communications director here in the city. I think she's starting off doing a great job, by the way. She has a lot of experience in media, served as a chief strategist at Global Good Public Relations and managed New York City operations for Cornell University. She is a great addition to our staff here, and I think you're going to be seeing some new and innovative and creative things coming out of the communications department.
Yeah, we should definitely get her on the show as well.
Yeah.
To talk about some of that.
Absolutely.
And you also have on board a new arts and cultural affairs director.
Fayemi. She's going to be on the show, as a matter of fact. So you stay tuned. You'll hear her in a little while. Fayemi, she just came and joined us in January. She's going to be directing our cultural affairs around arts and is a cultural leader in Newark. Throughout the country, people recognize Fayemi, in fact, for not just her art and cultural work, but because she's been a serious activist over periods of years, a community building type of person, and we're glad to have her on board to help us make sure that art and culture is in everything that we do. Right? She was a visiting lecturer. She might still be at Rutgers
Right.
University in Newark, you know, and is on the Artist Advisory Council in Newark Arts. But you know, she's going to be a great addition to the staff as well.
Right. Now, Mayor, I know you recently did an interview with Eastside High School's journalism students.
Yeah.
So you posted about that on your Instagram.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
That was great. You know, that actually came out from the Mayor's Book Club.
Okay.
When we had the discussion, they wanted to follow up with that, so we went down there to Eastside. They had some great questions, those kids.
Wow.
Eastside, brilliant kids at Eastside. Shout out to Eastside down there, the Red Raiders.
Okay.
You know, they did a great job in the interview, and I'm love to see it when it comes out. Maybe we should have a show where we grab a couple of them young people and bring them up here.
I think we should.
Yeah, snatch Shakira up and bring some of the young people. Yeah.
And the 6th annual State of the City address is coming up. You have that coming in March, right?
Yep, March 16th, NJ Pack, 7 p.m., State of the City. And this is going to be an incredibly data-driven State of the City. We've been dealing with data a lot in the city, you know, focus data. So this State of the City is going to be real data. The data is going to speak for itself
Right.
about our successes, our challenges, all of the different things that we're talking about in the city, from development to water to housing, you know, to jobs, to policing. We're just going to show the raw data
Right.
from years up into present, so people can make their own determination about where the city is going and where it's come from.
Right.
Raw data. It's going to be good. I think it'll be
I
interesting.
think so.
Yeah.
Last year was great. This year will be great. Every year's been, great. So.
Yeah, then
It's gonna be-
Taquan put his touches on it.
Yes.
It'll turn into something.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
the grand premiere.
Yeah. And on
Yeah.
January 9th, you recently broke ground on the Avon Loft.
Yep.
And the city partnered with Sari Morris, right?
Yeah. So Ascension Capital.
Ascension Capital.
Yeah.
And so we have Sari coming on today on the show. He's going to talk about the Avon
Oh,
Loft
that's great.
development.
That's great. Sari is a good kid, man. Well, he's not a kid anymore. You know, I know him for a long time, so he is doing outstanding work in the city, man. He's very serious about development, and he is an ambassador to the work that needs to be done. A lot of people talk about what's happening. That's why the data is important, because people will see data-wise that there's more development actually happening in neighborhoods than it is downtown. But the buildings downtown are so big and huge, and you can't miss them.
Right.
That is right in everybody's face.
Right.
Sari is building like 2 or 3 houses here, 2 or 3 houses there.
Right.
The people don't, that is not the sexy kind of thing people look at.
Right.
You look across the street from Stratford, you see a new building up, a new housing complex up. He built that.
Right.
You go on Avon, he's building new apartments on Avon. He's doing great work. He's born and raised in the city of Newark, graduated from University High School. He'll talk about all that when he get on the show, but
Yeah.
I'm a fan, so I'll be glad to get Sari up here to talk about his work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And let's discuss the letter that was written at WBGO about what was the racial tensions happening. So there was a letter published on our NewarkNewJersey.gov. Can you explain a little bit about what inspired that letter?
Well, I guess it started because there was a editorial written, and it kind of focused everybody's attention on what was going on over there, the lack of diversity in the upper echelons or the upper administrative offices of WBGO. People felt like they were being targeted and discriminated against in the institution. They just fired the young lady Josie that I think they should bring back. She was probably one of the most vocal folks down there speaking out about this. Then they fired her, which prompted me to get involved. Because I thought that the kind of atmosphere and things that were going on down there needed to be changed, particularly since I've been listening to WBGO since I was a child.
Right.
In my household, it's a very important radio station to the city. And we don't need it to change. We don't need it to change culturally, and we don't need the mission to change. It's a Newark station. I know a lot of folks, on the board now from New York. They want to make it a New York station, but this is a Newark station. It started out in the Newark High School.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Which
Newark,
high school?
Central High School.
Oh wow,
yeah,
Central.
Yeah.
My alma mater.
Started off in Central, and then it after the Newark Rebellion and all of that, it became what we know it of as today, WBGO. Probably one of the most important jazz radio stations in the nation.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, probably the only very few shows that still exist, radio stations that exist, that exclusively focuses on jazz and blues. Yeah.
Wow. So it's very important to the
Incredibly
community
important.
and to society as a whole.
Our history, our culture. I mean, we can't allow it to be expropriated,
Right. And there was also an article published on the Newark, New Jersey website about the Newark Public School Superintendent, Roger Leone, being attacked unfairly by the closing of charter schools. He's being blamed for the closing.
Yeah, and I hope the Ledger prints out thing too. But at the end of the day, he doesn't have any authority to close charter schools. I mean, the narrative of that, is he's closing school. Actually, he's not. He made a recommendation that the school shouldn't be reopened, based on the data that they found in those specific schools. He's not attacking charter schools. He's saying these 3 schools or 4 schools shouldn't be reopened based on the data. Because they have a huge network, a lot of money, a lot of allies with money, it gets this kind of attention. And, they begin to attack him. They put posters out. They do all this other stuff. When Cammie Anderson was here, she closed 20 schools.
Wow.
And she closed them, not the, 20 Newark public schools. That means when you think about those schools, think about the parents, the kids, where they go to school at now. And these are not just high school, these are elementary schools, right? So where those kids go to school. Some of them go all the way across town, all kind of disruption going on. Some of those kids went to schools some of the special needs kids went to schools that did not have their program at that school, right? So the district invariably got sued a bunch of times because kids were in situations where the school did not have the right educational environment for them. That didn't blow up, except the residents here were on fire, going back at Cammie Anderson, trying to get her to fix some of this stuff. But they just marched along with this. The state supported it at that time. All these organizations kept silent, and they allowed this stuff to happen. The superintendent is here trying to fix all of this mess as a result of that. And I believe he should be given some latitude and some leeway to do that. The people elected a school board. The school board picked him.
Right.
So that's where we are, right? These other folks are not in charge of the school district. Roger Leone is, right? And I think he's doing a good job.
All right. I agree. And let's touch on the news, the big news that happened over the weekend. We lost the legend in the NBA world, Kobe Bryant. What is your take on that? What is your opinion? How did that?
Man, it was horrible. When I found out about it, I was actually on my way to go watch the Pro Bowl, and that came. I was like, this is it. It was like really, really, really hard for me. I wasn't even like a Lakers fan, a Kobe Bryant fan because of Lakers. My brother is my family in the household. We always opposite. They Dallas, I'm Pittsburgh. They like Kobe Bryant, but you can't take it away. You can't take away from how great of a man he was, incredible a player he was. Period. He wasn't without his personal errors and all those other things, but he was an incredible role model for so many people and have done great work for basketball, and the way he loved his children, all of those things in public, and it's difficult to do. It is. We should take note of that, and I think people have. You see these new memes and all this other stuff going on. People with the fathers, with their daughters, girl dad hashtag, and all this stuff.
You're a girl dad, right?
Yeah, mini girl dad. So I have 3 girls. At the end of the day, it's have some kind of positive impact,
right,
on that. And you see all of this because you usually get the kind of crazy stereotype that African American men don't take care of their children.
Right.
But now you're getting to see all of these pictures and folks and doing all this stuff.
Yes.
So you begin to see these guys dealing with their children. And I think it's incredibly important to show that image. And so he's still having an impact in his death.
Yep, and a positive impact that people are
Yeah.
learning things about him they didn't know.
That's right. That's right. And I'm just saying we should pray for his wife, man. To lose family, to lose her husband and her child. I couldn't even imagine what that begins to feel like. And I'm saying that because she's just not a regular person.
Right.
Right. She's like on the media, open. People are going to be in her business. Everything she does, they're going to report about it. You know, it's just a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah.
And you know, she needs a lot of support around that. You know, probably every day. I don't know if you ever get over this.
Yeah, it's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
So the city of Newark is definitely praying for the Bryant family. And I know Fast Signs downtown recently put up a sign with Kobe's picture, asking people to sign it and give their condolences.
Oh, that's dope.
Who are walking by, and it was on News 12 recently. So I think that was nice.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's good. Yeah.
And so let's talk about the water.
Always, let's do it. Let's do it.
So to date, there's over 6,000 lead service lines have been replaced.
That's incredible.
And,
it's incredible.
And for people who want to know these numbers and get an update, they should go to the website, right? Newark Lead Service Line.
They can go to NewarkLeadServiceLine.com, the website. They have a constant update that's running. You know, you'll be able to see that weekly, those updates going on. These guys are replacing anywhere between 80 to 100 lead service lines a day. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of work, and they seriously at it, you know. Our first initial assessment was we were going to try to do at least 50 a day. Right, which is what the plan was. Now we're at 80 to 100, so it's ratcheted up so much.
Yeah, that's a lot.
So these guys are out there working, and our folks are working. You know, people are getting trained to be on these sites. Plus, we have African American and Latino and women subcontractors that are on these things doing the work that they need to do. I don't like to say minority in Newark because we're not the minority, but at the end of the day, you see us working on these lead service lines, and that's a great thing. It's a great thing.
And the Newark People's Assembly is hosting meetings in each ward, right? Each ward about the lead service line replacement.
Yeah, we've actually had most of the meetings. There's only one left.
February the 4th.
Okay. We've had most of the meetings already. There'll probably be more in the future on lead service line. And really the meeting is simply about us we're showing people how to put the filters on, telling them the progress of what's going on with the lead service line, the orthophosphate in the water. Right. I'm going to talk about that a little bit more even at the State of the City, just show the data on that, right? I got this thing, I don't know they're doing at Rutgers or whatever, you know, the professors and stuff, they're doing this thing, and they have a post, they got the kids taking pictures with posters up, telling Chancellor Cam to help Newark get the lead out. Well, all they have to do is go to NewarkLeadServiceLines.com, and they can see how. So the professor that organized that should send them to NewarkLeadServiceLine.com, so they can see how the lead is getting out. That the orthophosphate that has been put in the water has been reducing the lead in the water steadily for months, right? So I mean, sharp, deep kind of reductions from where it first started. So that plus the fact we changed 6,000 lead service lines, to date means that we're moving in the right direction and moving rapidly. So, the lead will be out very shortly, right? A good study for the kids would be to get them to figure out how that's actually happening, right? Not just to do like a poster, like we got to raise the cognitive demand here, right? Getting kids to put a poster together that say get the lead out is one level of cognitive demand. The higher level of cognitive demand is to get them to go to the watershed and figure out how orthophosphate works.
And do some research, read about it.
How does lead leach from pipes into water? When was lead used in development? When has it been taken out? How is changing lead service lines going to affect the problem, and how is it happening? How is it working or happening in comparison to where it's going on around other places in the state and around the country? That's another level of cognitive demand. And if I was a professor or a teacher, I would certainly have kids do stuff like that.
I think that's more productive than holding a sign, saying to get the lead out. Like you said, they're actually researching and learning about the problem.
Absolutely.
And you were recently on Love and Hip Hop.
Yeah.
But you were there speaking with Yandy and Jamila. And what is Yandy and Jamila doing for the city of Newark?
Well, right now, like Jamila is doing all type of stuff, man. Those two are up at Westside High School. They're doing work up there with the kids at Westside. They're doing a class. Actually, they're doing a class teaching kids how to do business and construction and development. So really the conversation was about we're teaching kids the technical part of developing a house, purchasing a house, all the stuff. Is it possible we can get property to actually take the class from classroom to real life so they can actually do it? And that's sort of like there's other people who do stuff like that. Habitat for Humanity does stuff like that. There's a Youth Build does something similar to that. But they wanted to do something like that. I know when it came up, people said, "Oh, they're gonna give them 60,000 pieces of property." You know, ignorance everywhere. But at the end of the day, that's what they were talking about. How do we take what we're doing in class to real life practice?
Okay.
And plus, you know, Jamila and them, they're working in the Shani Baraka Center with Keisha Yuri.
Okay, so they're doing a lot with the city.
They're taking women who were victims of domestic violence and teaching them how to professionally put on makeup for artists and wigs, and how to make a wig, put the wig on, the wig business. Obviously, because a lot of artists and entertainers use wigs and makeup, and they're actually going to get them connected to the industry in that way.
That's
like,
good.
you know, most people think about the industry, they think about you either got to be a rapper or this thing or that thing. They're preparing people to do that kind of work, like makeup and wig.
And they're gonna next month they're gonna come on the show and talk about all.
That's great.
They're gonna come on and talk about what they're doing.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of good things in the city. A lot of good things. So people think that's like a farce, but they out here, they working. They was doing that before the show.
Right.
So they've been at it like that. I actually met them out there while they were doing the work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about the first guest we have coming on.
Yep.
Mr. Sari.
Sari Morris. Yeah. MCI Construction Services. That's his personal company. He has a bunch of companies with other people, LLCs. He knows how to get it done now. You know what I mean? So we want to have Sari come on the show. He's a Newark resident, born and raised in this city, in the South Ward of Newark. Went to University High School in Rutgers, New Brunswick. Studied civil engineering. You know, he's a good example of what can happen given the right atmosphere, right environment, right direction. What we want the people in this city to help us do. We have, as we've been talking about, an incredible guest today, Sari Morris, with us, MCI Construction Services, LLC. I'm going to let him talk a little bit about himself before we start drilling him. So you want to tell us about your company and what prompted you to start doing this stuff?
Yeah, so my company, MCI Construction Services, it really isn't a construction company anymore. We focus more on like real estate development. So the company in general, we just buy and we develop and rehab distressed properties and land in Newark. And just to be quite frankly, you know, it's been a very interesting time, you know, to get to this point here. And, you know, and initially, just kind of growing up in Newark and just seeing like a lot of the distressed and abandoned buildings and stuff that we grew up in, we played in and things like that. You know, I just said, hey, when I get my time and get my shot, you know, I'm gonna make sure that I try to make an impact.
That's it, brother. So what drew you into? You went to school for civil engineering,
yes.
Right? So why you picked civil engineering?
Now this right here is kind of a little interesting, a little different story.
Yeah.
You know, my senior year, you know, I played ball and stuff like that. So we played ball. We had a little extra privileges. So you know, I used to be in the hallways chilling and stuff like that towards the end of the year. And there was a vice principal. Her name was Miss Hayden. And I was just probably running in the hallways doing what I normally did. And she said, come into my office. This is right before the end of the school, right before graduation. And she was saying, she said, yo, I think you would be a good civil engineer. Never heard of it in my life, right?
Wow.
And she said, listen, my husband is a civil engineer, he works with PSNG, and I'm going to hook you guys up. Right. And I'm like, okay, cool. So, you know, she tried to hook us up, but we never really linked up. So when I went to Rutgers, you know, I was good in like school and stuff, but I like English at the time. So I said, yeah, when I go up, I'm gonna just do English.
Yeah,
so I was an English major. So after like the first like 2 or 3 months, I'm like, nah, this ain't gonna cut it. Right. So then I'm like, she did say something about civil engineering. So I said, I'm gonna just do civil engineering. And that was really my first introduction into it. Just a random
conversation,
2-minute conversation.
Wow.
And that's how I came in.
That's why it's important to have right conversations with people, man.
I'm telling you.
That's serious. I never knew that, man. Miss Hayden, shout out to Miss Hayden.
Yeah.
She's still in Newark Public Schools doing her thing too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Miss Hayden is.
I gotta link up with her.
For sure.
Thank you very much. She didn't even realize that one little conversation.
Yeah.
For all the teachers, you don't realize the impact you can have with your words on these kids. So thank you, Ms. Hayden.
And you spoke a little bit about why you develop in Newark. You want to expound a little bit on that? Like maybe what keeps you in Newark doing the work that you're doing?
I would say just the importance of having a realistic impact, in our communities, right? And in my community. Honestly, it started with myself. I grew up, in Newark, Section 8 housing. All of the things that we all may have experienced as kids, right? But I didn't let that, be like a hindrance to me. It kind of was like motivation. So even as a kid, I used to sit down, I used to draw and design buildings and stuff, right? I used to draw like building facades and layouts and bedrooms, just random. I just kind of just had that niche, right? So as I got older, I said, listen, how can I change my situation, right? Because when I went to school as a civil engineer, I graduated in 2005, and I ended up working for a developer, right? And I seen all of the assets this developer had, right? So I was a civil engineer. I was in the basement. It was me and two other guys, right? And we designed pretty much everything this guy had for the time that I was there. And he had a plane. He had a yacht. Check it out. He had a full-time staff on his plane and his yacht.
Yeah, how about that?
One day when I was in work, and I was the young engineer, so I was the grunt. And they was like, yo, listen, you should go upstairs to go help his captain. I'm like, a captain? I'm like, what's a captain? And I went up there, so we in there lugging fish down into the basement of this building that the developer owned, right? So then it just clicked on me. I'm like, hold on. This is not right. He has a captain of a yacht. I make $63,000 a year. And I'm designing his stuff?
Right.
That ain't gonna work, right?
Yeah.
So then I started thinking. So at that point, at that point with the captain, I was like, hold on, I got to start thinking generationally now.
Right.
And I saw that the influence, the impact that this person had just through real estate. And so I said, hold on. Now I know that I know Newark. We got some things we got to do over there. So why not try to have this same impact, in my community, but not just more for myself. I want to do good for myself and my family, but I want to try to put as many people on as I can. Right. So that's kind of how, I got inspired to do things in Newark. I saw something that was a positive with the person that I work for, and I seen a need in the city, and I just put the two and two together.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job, man.
Thank you.
How we what's the progress on Avon Avenue, man? What's going on up there?
It's cool. Yeah, I just posted something on Instagram. My likes is getting up now. I got like 300 or something.
Nice.
We just finished the it's two houses. We just finished the putting down the foundation. We finished putting the foundation slab down, and we start framing today. Currently, right now, on one of the houses, hopefully, we should have almost the first floor done.
That's great.
In terms of the framing, and then on the other lot, we passed our plumbing inspection today, so we're going to pour the slab and start framing on that one. Probably next week, maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
So we're still on track. We're still on schedule for like July, but I'm gonna push my guys. I got a really good team. Guys are committed to getting this thing done fast. So we're moving very well.
So how does it make you feel, man?
Honestly, it's a little different, right? Because I'm not doing something that I don't normally do.
Right.
This is
100%.
not something that's new to me, right? But the fact that it's been so well received, because myself, I used to keep my head down, I stay low. I don't really let too many people know what I'm doing and stuff, right? But being that I decided I had the opportunity for the mayor to do the groundbreaking and stuff when I took it, because I usually try to I don't want people.
Because the other project you ain't do that.
I got a bunch of stuff. I just didn't do it, right? But I did do it on this one. But and just to see the positive impact and the feedback that the people have given me, it's humbling, and it kind of make me take a step back now and start thinking a little better about my moves and how I can have even greater impact by just showing more about what I'm doing. So it's awesome. It's different. It's new. It's something I like. I welcome. So it's kind of cool.
That's 100%.
Got a lot of traffic on social media too. That the post about the Avon Avenue loss.
Yes,
a lot of the people love that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
A lot of people know Avon Avenue. That's
Yeah.
why.
Man, listen, man. I think everybody in Newark got a story on Avon, man.
That was my stomping ground, man.
I'm telling you, man.
That was my stomping ground.
Definitely got mine. I ain't gonna lie.
That's
For
what's
sure,
up,
for
man.
sure.
So tell me about like what would your dream development be like? You know, if you could do something that you really, really, really want to do.
Okay, I think that's a cool one. I got a few, right? So,
Yeah.
you know, like myself, I'm a big advocate of mental health, right?
Yeah, okay.
So, like myself, I go to therapy once a week. Me and my wife go to couples therapy once a week,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And
I need that. Maybe you just hit me up.
I got you.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna be honest. I think all of us, specifically us that come from really difficult upbringings or just situation environments,
Yeah.
we need that. It's
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
no way around it, right?
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
so one thing that
That's
there's a few of
good.
them. Is a few of them. So one thing I want to do is create like a full service mental health facility,
Oh wow.
but something that's like that's really large and can really impact young adults in the schools. It can impact teenagers in the schools, young adults who are just trying to figure out life and trying to find things, because a lot of times in our communities, or sometimes in our communities, we don't necessarily have the right parental structure, right? And we look for other places and other things and other people to get that advice from. And then even as adults, and we're figuring things out, I'm pretty sure nobody could have told you about being a mayor, really.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's just nobody was in your shoes. So at every element, every level of our life, we need help, we need guidance, right? And I think that if we can look at mental health as a way to heal our community and stuff like that, I think we can have such a greater impact. Like even like with drugs and stuff. One thing you said that I like too is that you said this is not like a criminal issue. You know what I'm saying? It's like a social issue, right?
Right.
So we can't view people who have these problems and addictions. You don't want to put them to jail for it. You want to solve it. Why do they have the problem?
Yeah.
Definitely
Right.
mental health related.
Yeah, so I think so. One of them would be like the mental health facility. I think that would be something that's so dope.
Yeah.
And also, I got one too. I'm a big sports guy. He is too. My son play AAU basketball. He's 9. He's trying to put the work in and stuff.
That's all right.
But I wanted to. But I also want to do like probably like 100,000 square foot sports facility, right? Because the being in the AAU circle now and just seeing because my son played baseball, he played basketball, kids play soccer and things like that.
Right.
It's facilities out here, right? But we need more. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Kids need more. Like I know when you grew up, when I grew up, we went to the park, we was playing all day. You know what I'm saying? Like that was for hours.
Right.
Right. And I just want to be able to recreate that, for kids. And it's not just about basketball, football, it's about baseball, soccer, it's about encompassing all of the kids in our communities, right? And the next one too, I want a self-sufficient container home community, right? So I would, and ideally, I would like to get like 6 city blocks, right? I'm giving out here, right? Six. Because you got to make a community.
I hear you.
But listen, it's a goal. Like
Let's do it.
You got to
Let me
put it
hear
out
you.
there in the world. You know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So you need like 6 city blocks, right? And I would like to make it completely self-sufficient, right? But I want to do things that's kind of a little different, right? I want it to be kind of completely off the grid, right? Because with development, the one thing that...
What do you mean off the grid? People that know what you're talking
Yep,
about.
I'm about to give it to you, right?
Yeah.
So with development, the one thing... So people look at development like it's a great thing. We're bringing all these people. It's going to be booming, right? But the one thing that it's doing is causing so much stress
Right.
to the city's municipal lines, the electrical, water, things like that, right? So in addition to bringing people here, we got to find ways where we can relieve that, right?
Right.
So off the grid means that, so for example, I have concepts and designs where you have solar, battery packs on houses and stuff.
Right.
So now we don't really got to pull from the
Right.
PSE&G,
The
right?
grid, yeah.
Say for example,
They ain't gonna like that though.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah. But so that's one way, right? The next part is when we use our bathrooms, right? Everything, we flush the toilet, everything goes down to the Passaic Valley Sewage Commissioners, right?
Yeah.
It's ways in which we can utilize the waste that we have with wood chips and stuff like that, and turn that into sustainable fertilizer to grow crops and food and stuff like that.
Wow.
Another way too, in terms of relieving the water supplies, that we could collect some of the rainwater from the roof runoff and stuff like that, store that and utilize that in our house. It got to be clean somewhat,
Right.
but these are different ways. Yeah, exactly. These are different things that ways in which we can still grow the city's population, add these different services, but also provide a relief.
Right.
So so as developers, we gotta change the way we think. You know what I mean? We gotta start thinking outside the box, right?
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Word.
I was talking to a guy, is a African American guy who was talking about using the solar panels to pull moisture from the air, because in the air is moisture in the air, and then you take the moisture from the air and it creates water. Then all you have to do is add the minerals,
Absolutely.
and to be completely 100% clean and pure water.
It's a guy. I forgot his name, but I think it's in Houston or something. It's a guy that actually created a machine that can create the water out of the air. This is something I thought about. I actually started doing formulas on it too a while ago to try to figure out how you can break it down and kind of create the water out of air, because all it is just molecules.
That's right.
But that's awesome.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's crazy.
That's awesome.
These guys.
It could be done.
Yeah, people don't know you this brilliant, Sari, man. I be telling these guys, man, they better be careful. That's great, man. I'm all of those are things that we absolutely need, And, we need some more family-oriented kind of recreational facilities in Newark, right? We don't have a lot of family-oriented stuff where people could go with their whole family, right? So when you talk about the sports thing, I think we need things. We got stuff that's separated. The kids go to adults. We need more family kind of places. So that is exactly something that we need.
And just to add to that, the one thing you'll see at these kids' sporting events is mother, fathers, and kids.
That's it.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
So that's something I do. I didn't think of it like that either, but I always see mom and dads there, and that's really good.
Yeah.
And that's what we need, We need to support and build these families, man. I'm glad you came on the show with us, man. We so what are you working on now? Like what is the projects you have in the hopper outside of this?
Yeah, cool. So we actually have a few. And it's been a really good ride. So right now we have 20 units. We just amped it up. We just took the design back from the city, and we increasing the amount of units. We're doing 20 units on Astor Street. That's going to be it's called the Michael. That's dedicated to my late brother. So and we grew up on Astor Street. He dropped me off basketball practice a few times and stuff like that. So we have that. We also a part of the Westwood Model Neighborhood Initiative.
Okay.
Right, and we was able to acquire a few city-owned lots and stuff, and we're looking to do 64 units over there.
Wow.
So we got that there. We have so just in development, we have like a lot of different I have a lot of different companies and stuff, but just in total. So on in Springfield Avenue, South 10th, we have about 64 units going up there. We're still in the process of kind of closing on the parcels, but we already kind of started the architectural drawings and things like that. Then I have a project on MLK as well. Right now it's about 40 units. So that's some of the stuff that we have. A few of the things that I have coming up in the next, let's say, 2 or 3 years. Well, 1 to 3 years and stuff. So it's
what about the container home stuff? Man?
Oh yeah. Oh right. Thank you. I just had a meeting about that 9:30 today. My bad. Sorry about that. So we just fortunately the city approved last month in December. In January, a grant for us to start up again. So we just had a meeting today. We just gave them back up with the architect, the engineers and stuff. So we're looking to hopefully break ground again in maybe April, right? So the thing is too, we already kind of started the construction already. I just didn't say nothing because I wanted us to get to a certain point before I blew it out there, and we kind of ran into some funding issues. Yeah. And that's why we went back to the city to get some help. But being that the city approved it, we're looking to start back up April-ish. But the containers we got 18 containers. They already been modified. They're just sitting at the container yard now. They're just waiting for us to ramp back up. So if we start in April, the goal would be to get it done within 7 months, maybe 8 months, because we're doing some things that are new and innovative. We just don't know some stuff. You know what I'm saying? And we kind of, we learn it as we go as well. So hopefully in April, we'll be able to start that back up. And that's that'll be a 3-unit container home development.
So the container home's going to be where at in Newark?
Is it 393 Halsey Street?
Okay, so on Halsey Street. Okay, that's gonna be cool.
Yep, and this is more of the proof of concept. So once
Right.
we get that rolling, then, you know, I'll be going back to the man in the city like, hey, guys, you know, we proved it. Let's get this thing rolling.
Yeah, it's going to
Right.
be probably the first multi-family container home in the state.
Yeah, it's definitely been the first approved for sure.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we already got the construction plan. We already started. So we're just trying
Yeah.
to be in a race to make sure we get this thing done.
Yeah, we pray for you, man. We want that to happen. We want that to happen, man.
Absolutely.
Sari Morris, you're doing some great work, man. Thanks for coming on the show for us
I think,
today. We
Appreciate
appreciate you,
Maybe I
man.
think Sari gonna have the yacht and all of that. In no
Yeah,
time with all this
yeah,
development.
yeah. He gonna
Well,
be doing
the
his
yacht
thing.
and-
Well, I
Having
might,
his birthday
and the
parties.
catfish, right.
Yeah, invite me to the birthday party, man.
I'm gonna sell a yacht and buy some more real estate.
I know that's right, brother. Yes, sir.
All right,
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you. It's nice meeting you. You ready?
Everybody, next guest that we have for you today is Fayemi Shakur, new Director of Arts and Culture here in the city of Newark. We're so excited and pleased to have her on board with us. And I'll let her talk a little bit about herself and what she wants to do in this new position. So I'd like to start actually by asking you, why do you think art and culture is important to the city?
To our city in particular, we have such a vibrant history of culture and creativity here. I think it's important to celebrate not just our history, but this important moment that we're in. Our artist community has contributed to the vibrancy of this city, made a profound impact, not just an economic impact, but they've helped essentially revitalize the city. And we can do that even more in our neighborhoods.
I think so.
Yeah.
Give us some examples of how you think that could happen through art and culture.
I always think of my third grade teacher who recognized that I was a writer. My family wasn't aware of it, but it was my teacher who noticed it because I was always in the library and reading Shel Silverstein books.
Wow.
So we're seeing a theme with teachers today.
Yeah, today a lot
Yeah.
of teachers. Yep. Good shout out.
And so many of our artists are actually teaching artists. And we rely on them a little bit too much to work for free. And we have to see them and value them as workers and entrepreneurs and,
Right.
and businesses as well. And so when I think of the arts and arts education, that is deeply tied to our teaching artists and the impact that they can have on our young people. And not everybody learns the same.
Right.
Right. So children need these outlets so that they can develop their voice and be leaders.
We desperately need that. That's for
Yeah.
sure, without question. So what were you doing in the city and around here before you moved into this position?
Many things. Depends on the day.
Yeah.
But I was teaching at Rutgers, teaching art criticism in the ACM department, the Art, Culture, and Media department at Rutgers Newark, and also the senior studio. So I was advising seniors on their thesis work. And also writing. So I
Right.
write for the New York Times and a few other outlets about art and photography.
Nice.
I had a few residencies at our local art institutions, like
Right,
Project
right.
for Empty Space.
Yeah.
I was a feminist in residence there.
Wow.
And we published an anthology of poetry and art featuring Newark-based artists. We have so
That's
many.
huge.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Yeah.
And I love the way it came together because there's so many women in our own community, like Jasmine Mans and Mia X, Queen Moore, and I really wanted to celebrate them and their contributions and their individual artwork and practice.
Yeah. Jasmine is awesome. She curates a poetry event for us at
Yeah.
City Hall.
Monthly.
Yeah, monthly. Good.
Yeah,
good.
we got to get her on the show as well.
Yeah, yeah. That the Renaissance and Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that title by itself is enough. But what are you excited about trying to make happen in this future role of yours, this role now? Yeah.
Well, this leasing program that you announced is huge.
Right.
Because we've seen, we've suffered some losses in our arts community in terms of space.
That's right.
And, you know, we've been vocal about it, and we weren't sure anyone was listening.
Right.
And it was really reassuring to feel like, wow, the mayor was absolutely listening all this time, and just understanding that maybe some things just take time
Yeah.
to put the system and process in place so that we can be more sustainable.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited about the opportunity to create space for artists to create space for themselves, for their practice, and also to serve the residents of our community.
That's
and,
right.
And to revitalize more neighborhoods.
That's right.
Right.
That's I direct them into them neighborhoods where they need it the most. Yeah, I think so. I think that's gonna be an awesome opportunity. What has been probably the best experience you've had here in the city? A little cultural, little art experience that you've been engaged in that you thought has been had the most impact on you.
Hands down, well, two. Two. The first was the National Hip Hop Political Convention
Oh wow,
that we had here back in 2004.
wow, yeah,
That was the very first time. That was my introduction really into working and organizing in Newark. And I saw and met so many leaders from across the country that
yeah,
came here to talk about civic engagement
Right.
and identifying an agenda that was important to our generation.
right,
And we talked about so many things: mass incarceration, reproductive rights, political prisoners,
That's right.
environmental racism. We had maybe 30 issue-based topics. And so that really helped me understand also the power of art and culture, and giving us an ability to have these conversations in a different way.
right.
And then the second would definitely be the creation of the Lincoln Park Music Festival.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you were a part
Wow.
of creating that, right?
Yeah, I worked as in the very beginning with Baye Wilson and Anthony Smith. I was a co-founder. And so the first year when Baye told me he wanted this to happen over 3 days, he gave me a budget of $14,000
Wow. For a 3-day festival.
for a 3-day festival. And Rocksteady Crew was with us.
That's right, Rocksteady. I remember that.
Yeah. And to see how that has grown into what it is now.
Yeah.
And everybody comes.
Yeah.
Everybody. It is for all the people.
That's
And to
right.
see that sea of people out there together, family, children,
Yeah.
everyone just dancing. There's never been any violence or
Right, right.
problems. It is just such a joy.
It is. The atmosphere is incredible.
Yeah.
It's an incredible atmosphere. If you've never been to the Lincoln Park Festival, you got to get to the Lincoln
Yeah.
Park Festival.
This summer, every summer.
Got the gospel, jazz, the hip hop, club
House
music,
music.
house music.
Mhm.
I called it club music when I was a kid.
Right.
So I know it's probably really called house music. Yeah, but
But that's the
Sensations is
energy.
Zanzibar. Yeah, it's
That's the
energy.
joy that
Yeah.
the energy that creatives, artists bring into our community. That's
Yeah.
the energy.
That's real.
True.
It's real. I wanna like use, and I always keep saying it, like use art in a very specific. I'm trying to do something with Clinton Avenue. Try to use art in a way to get people to come to our city like they used to in the past. You think that's possible for Newark again? People come to our city to be a part of the art scene.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's already happening.
Yeah,
People are already coming. And we just have to cultivate the energy and the environment to make sure people see it.
yeah,
Do a better advertising.
that's right.
Some of our residents don't even know that there are art galleries in Newark.
That's very true. It's very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Or that they have the Open Doors Festival.
Yeah.
all that stuff that goes
Yeah.
on.
Yes, the Newark Arts Festival. The whole city should be out for that, but they don't always know about it.
Right,
And so
right,
part
right.
of what I want to also consider is collaborating with maybe NJ Transit and tourism and say, how can we put more advertising on our buses so that the message spreads throughout the city? Even our summer fun programs and our
Right,
programs at
right.
Centers for Hope. When you're sitting at the bus stop, you should see what's happening in your own city. How can we make this information more accessible?
Right.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's good. We make those things happen. That's something that can happen. The more people involved in it, the better it'll be anyway. That's what I believe. I know we coming up in February. To be in February, it's Black History Month. The art community here in Newark. You think there's a relationship between what's going on, like with art, and it's something that we can Black History Month? We want to talk about art as it relates to Black History Month here in the city of Newark. So, any comments around that? It'd be good.
Oh yes, we celebrate our Blackness every day.
Every day.
I said
365.
that. Yeah. I know that's right.
Every day. But yeah, I do think about, of course, the legacy of Amamu Amir Baraka, and which lives with us constantly, as well as the legacy of Jerry Gant and Gladys Grower, and how influenced we are by their work. And I'm just so proud of where we've come and excited about these collaborations that can continue those kind of legacies and histories.
So somebody said to me, why do we paint those faces? Like, there's a lot of pictures around, and I guess some people don't. I got a letter actually recently. I'm gonna send you one of them. It says, talks about the pictures that artists are painting. First of all, we don't tell the artists what to paint, right? They paint what they want to paint, but they're saying, like, we paint a lot of faces, particularly a lot of black and brown faces. That's what the letter talked about mostly. And why is it important for us to do that, and why are we allowing people to just paint those faces up there like that?
Well, number one, I think it's a wonderful question.
Yeah.
And we should be out in the community and telling people why these murals are present and what they mean.
Right.
But, you know, the answer to the question is we need to see ourselves, and children need to see themselves and reflections of themselves. And so there's a national conversation happening right now around public art and monuments, and what should we expect of them? What kind of stories and do we want to see?
Right.
And so these murals, they might just be faces to some people, but there's a story underneath of those faces.
Yeah.
And maybe the residents need to know more about those stories.
That's right. Now that is something that, you know, I know in Philadelphia they do that mural tour, and we do like a kind of little one in Newark too that they do. I don't want to call it little. Is it Newark a mural tour that happens? But I don't know if it's as extensive as the one they have in Philly with the kind of educational component attached to it. People are just going to look at the murals versus having a real conversation about it. Yeah.
I'm actually going to take a visit out there, so I'll come back with some information
Good,
on how we
good.
can work on that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, I know I went a long time ago. They have one of the tour part of it is the glass sculpture thing. Is like this guy made all this thing out of glass, or not, it was glass and bottle caps or something like that. But they have a kind of historical explanation up on the things now. It's not just a picture. They have like a plaque there that explains a few things, and then the guy goes into all of that stuff as well. Just like the piece in Detroit. With all of those city blocks. So Reed talked about he won 6 city blocks.
Right.
This guy, it's called Heidelberg or Heidel something. I can't never get it right. In Detroit, about 4, 5, 6 city blocks that was abandoned. He turned it into like a giant outside art museum.
Wow.
It's incredible. It doesn't get the support from the city like it should, but you know, yeah.
And that's the opportunity that we have.
Yeah.
I don't think any other city in the country has a mayor that's also an artist.
Right. That's a good advantage
It's
to the artist community.
Yeah, so now that we have this support, I'm running with it.
That's good. We need that to happen. Yeah, I was telling those folks in Detroit, I was like, listen, you know, you could build cafes, diners. People come to visit this place. You can have where they eating at, where they sleeping at. You can have a little hotel, boutique hotels, cafes, all kind of stuff around here. Because the guide told us that like hundreds of folks from Asia and all kind of places come.
Wow.
They just look at it, they walk around, and then they set up a little makeshift like booth where they are like giving people literature and walking them around. That should be a part of the city museum.
Right.
They should be doing that. They should have a real structure, real places, diners, all kind of stuff built up to support that kind of thing.
It'd
And
be a tourist attraction for the
huge, and have money to keep maintaining it. But something of that magnitude. I mean, you don't get that lucky every day. If somebody did something incredible like that in the city, I think it would be. We would definitely get around it and make sure it's successful. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. What's one thing you think you want to accomplish in this spot that you're in now?
One thing?
One. You could say more than one,
Okay.
but one.
Okay. I think one thing that has been a challenge is that we don't have as much access to foundation support as other cities do, like New York.
It's true.
And we also, art spaces don't have access to things like general operating grants.
Right.
They're usually called upon to submit maybe grants for arts education or arts programming, but they
Right.
can't sustain themselves because maybe they can't pay for their spaces or even their own salary.
Right.
And so this art funding grant that you've opened up provides an opportunity to really help sustain the organizations. So one thing I do want to, I'm excited about is this opportunity to create more space
Right.
and identifying these city-owned properties that
Right.
artists will be able to rent at a low cost and then possibly even own.
Right.
And owning space, owning your own space is so empowering.
Right.
And I really want to set up workshops and information sessions so that the artists can be successful and also call on others to continue to contribute to this fund. So it's not a
Right.
one-time thing, so
Right.
that we can sustain the fund over time.
There's probably the arts organizations in the city that get all of the money. Is like two of them:
Yeah,
the museum and NJPAC.
yeah. And we want them to keep getting their money. We just want to spread it
Yeah,
out a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
spread out a little bit. Yeah, I shout out to my peoples at the museum and John Schreiber at the NJPAC. But obviously, we do need some more funding to go around in the city. So you hit the nail right on the head. We need to find other sources of revenue for art in our community. Obviously, people have to understand how important art is to development and to, like you said, revitalization and renaissance. You in school talking about the Renaissance all your school career and all this other stuff, and you don't understand how Renaissance is important to revitalization of community. Is almost crazy to me. Have these conversations with adults, So, anything you want to offer us before we shut down? Anything you want to say?
Yeah, I just want to pay more attention to our children. And cultivating their sense of creativity and imagination, and thinking about the power of collaboration. And that's another thing I'm really excited about, is working in the department that I'm with, and in these communications, these one-on-one meetings that I'm having with folks and sharing my vision. I'm also listening to how I can help and collaborate.
Right.
Collaboration is huge. For me, I enjoy it. It's not a burden to me.
Good.
And if we all think along those lines, it doesn't feel like a burden. It's joyful work.
Right.
That's 100% right. Joyful work.
Yeah.
Make a joyful noise. We want to thank you for coming on with us, Fayemi. We appreciate you. The city is blessed to have you in this position. The residents, everybody. I think we're going to do a lot of incredible things. So thank you for being on Raz and 60.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Yep.
Yes, thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great episode.
Yeah,
I
agree.
Yeah, Fayemi is incredible. Saree, my God, is brilliant.
Yeah.
He's gonna be doing all type of things in the city. All kind of great things happening in Newark 2020, Newark Forward 2020, y'all. Stay tuned for our next episode. Make sure you tune in. The first Tuesday in March, Raz and 60, we'll be joined by Yandy Smith
Yes.
from Love and Hip Hop.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, and Jamila T. Davis.
Yeah.
The ladies will discuss the work they're currently doing in our great city. They're doing awesome work. And you've seen them make a little small debut on Love and Hip Hop. I won't be back there, but that was
Right. If you
something.
blink, you would have missed it.
You would have missed it. And remember, when you listening, you need the hashtag RazN60. If you'd like to ask me some questions or make a comment about what you've heard on the show, post your question to social media using the hashtag RazN60. Again, if you want to ask some questions or comment on something that you heard, use hashtag RazN60 when you posting your question. So thank you for tuning in to us this month. Have an incredible rest of the month. And remember, education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X. Happy Black History Month.
Yeah.